Hello, good morning children. Today we are going to start with another important lesson of your Moments book. The name of the lesson is The Adventures of Toto. My dear children, now first let us see what is adventure. By adventure we mean something very daring or something very exciting, something very exciting, something that needs a lot of courage. Here, this lesson actually deals with the adventures of Toto, and Toto was a monkey that was one of the pets of the grandfather. And this lesson is written by Ruskin Bond, who was an English writer and who lived in India. Let us continue. Ruskin Bond is an award-winning Indian author of descent. British descent means he was originally from Great Britain, much renowned for his role in promoting children's literature in India. A prolific writer, he has written over 500 short stories, essays and novels. His popular novels, The Blue Umbrella, was made into a Hindi film. The film was awarded the National Film Award for Best Children's Film in 2007. He is also the author of more than 50 books for children and 2 volumes of autobiography. He was awarded Padma Shri in 1999 and Padma Bhushan in 2014. So, my dear children, as you have seen, his origin was from England and he settled in India, and he was writing one after another, and particularly he is famous for the children's writing, and his book also was made into films, and that actually become a very renowned one, and for which National Film Award for Best Children's Film in 2007 was awarded to him for his book The Blue Umbrella. Therefore, now my dear children, let us continue. Let us see the introduction. So let us see the introduction. So this is a humorous and adventurous story of a naughty monkey named Toto. Naughty monkey, that is Toto. The writer's grandfather bought the monkey from a Tonga diver. The prank played by Toto have been narrated in an interesting way and make the story a must read for us. So as you have seen, this particular writing is a humorous writing. Okay, this is a humorous means it provokes laughter. When you read or when you go through this particular lesson, then we begin to laugh. We begin to laugh, and it is a really humorous sort of story, and there is a lot of adventure here. There are a lot of things, lot of activities are done by our monkey Toto, which was very notorious, and these activities were very much adventurous, very much daring, very much challenging one. And as you have seen, this Toto actually was brought from the Tonga driver. Tonga actually is a cart that is drawn by the horse. Means it is a horse-drawn vehicle or a cart, and from him the grandfather of the writer Ruskin Bond purchased it, and he made it into one of the pairs of his private zoo. Then let us see what is the theme. So by theme, what do you understand? As we discussed earlier, theme actually tells about the central idea or main idea. So the theme here is The story deals with the outcome of the interaction between humans and animals. It is the interaction. It shows that not all animals can adapt themselves to the human lifestyle. It requires a great deal of patience to train animals to acquire non-destructive behavior. So here in this lesson, what we will see, two things I will see. One is the relationship between human and animal. Human and animal relationship is beautifully delineated. And another thing is that in order to domesticate the animal, what are the passions, what are the attributes, qualities needed for human in order to make the animal behave just like human being, or just to adapt themselves to the behavior of the human. Now let us see. So adapt means what? Becoming suitable to a particular situation. Okay, means adapting means fitting oneself, fit oneself to a particular situation. Therefore, so you remember this particular line, survival of the fittest. The person who can adapt himself, he is the fit person in this world. Therefore, here also we will see how the monkey gets itself adapted or adjusted or fit with the lifestyle of human. Let us continue with the explanation. Now let us see the detailed explanation. The Adventure of the Toto by Ruskin Bond is an amusing story highlighting the antics of a mischievous monkey. So, as you have seen, the monkey is very mischievous or notorious, and it plays a lot of pranks or practical jokes. P-R-A-N-K-S, pranks or practical jokes. P-jokes I am writing. P-jokes means practical jokes. Therefore, it is a humorous or amusing story. The narrator's grandfather brought Toto, a little red monkey from a Tonga diver, to add to his collection of animals in his private zoo. So from this we understand that the grandfather of the narrator or the writer was a great lover of the animal, and therefore he took a lot of pity when he saw that the red monkey, the little red monkey, was tied to the feeding trough. Okay, so it was tied to the feeding trough. Feeding trough is a particular vessel in which food is put. So it was tied there, and it lost the freedom, and therefore he actually empathized. Okay, he feels pity for the monkey, and therefore he purchased it, he bought it, and then he made it one of the collections in his private zoo. Toto was an attractive monkey with sparkling eyes. He would take special delight in staring elderly Anglo-Indian ladies. So what is actually the attraction of the Toto or the monkey? So his sparkling eyes. His eyes were always dazzling. Eyes always dazzle means it shines bright. Okay, brightly, shining brightly, and that actually adds to the attraction of the monkey. So what it will do? It will be taking delight in scaring an elderly Indian ladies, Anglo-Indian ladies. So there will be many Anglo-Indian ladies, okay, in that particular neighborhood, and there what the monkey will be doing? It will be playing practical jokes, or it will be taking delight in scaring or in frightening, frightning, frightening, darana. So when you are frightening somebody, that is called the pleasure that you are deriving just by frightening somebody, that is called sadistic pleasure. So our monkey, our small pet, also took a sadistic pleasure just by scaring or frightening the Anglo-Indian ladies in that particular colony. Since grandmother was always averse to grandfather's collection of animals, he decided to keep news about Toto hidden from her until she was in a better mood. So here we will see a different character. The grandfather was little different or opposed to the grandfather. The grandmother was averse. Averse means disinterested, opposed to the collection of the animal of grandfather, and therefore the grandfather decided that the news about the bringing of or discovery of Toto was kept hidden. So the question, why was the news about Toto's arrival into the house was kept secret? Because the grandfather was averse to it, and the grandmother was averse to it, and therefore grandfather decided that he would wait for the better mood of the grandmother. Then let us see next point. Toto was temporarily kept in a closet that opened into the narrator's bedroom. So temporarily, where he was kept? In an almirah. Closet means the almirah. 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 Where was the almirah? Into the bedroom of the narrator, Ruskin Bond. So there it was kept for the time being. It was kept for the time being or temporarily. After a few hours of keeping Toto into the closet, when the narrator and the grandfather came to see Toto, they were in for a shock. They were in for a shock. Toto had torn the wallpaper, the peg with which the Toto had been bound, had been wrenched off the wall. The narrator's school blazer had been torn into many pieces. So this is the first mischievous act, first notorious act that was done by the monkey. So what were they? So he was kept tight. He was kept tied to a socket. He was kept tied to a socket, and what he did, he actually pulled it out. He pulled it out from the peg, okay, from the peg where he was tied, and then the part of it came out. The part of the wall came out, and therefore it was the mischievous act that was done by the pet for the first time, and more particularly adding salt to the injury. The narrator's blazer, which he used to take or wear for the school, was also torn into many pieces. The grandfather was quite happy at the monkey's adventure. Now, you see the grandfather, what the grandfather did? Grandfather was very happy, quite happy, because it is the first time that he made some adventure, some daring activity, because he enjoyed the liberty and freedom, and therefore the grandfather was very happy, and other people may take it as an unusual act. Why? Because doing some notorious act is supported by grandfather, but the motive behind it is that the grandfather wanted that the pet will be enjoying its freedom to the full. He felt that Toto was a very clever. He said that if they would have given him more time, he would have tied the thin pieces of the writer's stone blazer into a rope and would have escaped out of the window. Now, my dear children, you will see the grandfather was a great teacher. He was a very practical teacher, and therefore what encouraged? He encouraged the innovative or the new quality, discovering quality or the searching quality into the student. Similarly, the case here also. So when this practical prank or the practical joke was made, then the Toto was supported by the grandfather, telling that it is a very clever or intelligent monkey, and if he is given sufficient time, had he been given sufficient time, then he would have tied the thin pieces of the blazer of the writer and make it a rope, and with the help of that rope he would have escaped out of the window. After this, it was decided that Toto would be transferred to the caves where other animals such as tortoise, a pair of rabbits, a squirrel, narrators, a pet goat lived amiably. Unfortunately, Toto would create troubles for all of them. Amiably means in a friendly manner. Friendly. Now the first question that comes is that why it was decided that Toto would be transferred. What will be the answer? The answer will be that so he was very mischievous, he was very notorious, and he did the first notorious act. What was that? He torn the blazer, very precious thing of the narrator. Therefore, it was decided that so he would be allowed to live very comfortably with the other collections in the zoo of the narrator's grandfather. Unfortunately, what happened? He was a problem, or he was causing a lot of problem to other animals that they lived earlier very happily and in a friendly manner. Then what happened? Let us see. Now it is the time for the grandfather to go to Sharanpur in order to collect his pension. So the grandfather was a pensioner. He was a pensioner. So he actually got the OPS, old pension system, and therefore every month he went to Sharanpur, which was the headquarter. He went there in order to collect his pension fund. Then what happened there? We will see. The grandfather had to go to Sharanpur to collect his pension. He decided to take Toto along in a big canvas bag. Since there was no opening into the bag to allow his hands or face to come out, he would often jump inside the bag, making the bag look like as if there was a spirit in it. So, do you feel like smiling, laughing? So now these are the time for going to the Sharanpur in order to collect the pension. And as the grandfather was a lover of animal, and more particularly he liked the cleverness of Toto. Therefore, he wanted to take Toto also with him. and he decided to what he decided that he would be putting him in a bag made of thick paper or canvas. And when he was put in the bag, canvas bag or the thick bag, then as there was no opening just to allow his hand and feet come out. Therefore, what he did, he jumped inside the bag, and it appeared that there were some spirit or ghost in it. There were some spirit or ghost, because people could not see any animal; they could only see the movement of something inside the bag. Therefore, they felt that as if it was a spirit or a ghost. As soon as the train reached Sharanpur, Toto scared the ticket collector by popping his head out of the bag and grinning at him. The ticket collector was annoyed at the discovery and asserted that the grandfather would have to pay for Toto's fare. The ticket collector classified Toto as a dog and would not listen to the grandfather's argument that it was not a dog. Therefore, it is the time for the grandfather and Toto to reach Sharanpur. As soon as they reach there, then Toto did what a Toto popped out. Means all of a sudden he brought his head out of the bag, and then he was looking, or he was looking and smiling. Just by opening the teeth, he was smiling at the ticket collector or the conductor, and the conductor was very much frightened. And after discovery that it was an animal, the decided the ticket collector classified this as a dog and charged the grandfather that he should also be given a fare. Means the fare for the Toto also to be given, as he was classified in the class of the animal called dog. Then let us see the next part. As soon as the train reached Saharanpur, Toto scared the ticket collector by popping his head out of the bag and grinning at him. The ticket collector was annoyed at the discovery and asserted that the grandfather would have to pay for Toto's fare. The ticket collector classified Toto as a dog and would not listen to the grandfather's argument that it was not a dog. Means there was tussle, or there was argument between the grandfather and the bus conductor. The bus conductor told that it was a dog and therefore the fare is to be given. But the grandfather said that it was not a dog, it is a monkey. It doesn't belong to that category of the dog, and therefore fare should not be given. In this way, the grandfather with the bus conductor had a tussle. Once the grandmother accepted Toto, he was shifted to the stable where Nana, the family donkey, lived. Toto could not get along with Nana as well. Now, as you have seen, so Toto could not adjust himself with the other animal. Toto could not adjust or adapt. Adapt. So we have seen that in the earlier cases also, when he was taken to the private zoo of the narrator's grandfather, there also he could not adjust himself, and he disturbed all the other animal in the zoo. Now he is shifted to the stable. Stable is a particular place where the horses are kept. And here it is the donkey donkey. So, so he was to live along with the donkey, and he could not get along with Nana, the donkey as well. Means he could not adjust himself. He could not adjust himself with Nana, the donkey. That means he had problem with Nana also, and many times he disturbed Nana a lot and caused a lot of trouble to the family of the grandfather. Then let us continue. Let us see what follows. One incident we will remember. You see this particular picture. So the picture of the cattle. Cattle where water was boiling. One day he almost boiled himself when he jumped into a kettle of boiling water. So this is one of the mischievous acts of Toto. So one day what he did, as the monkey had the habit of jumping from one place to another, he did the same. So he actually, what was the feeling, that is not known. He jumped from one place to another. He went to the boiling water, and he was 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 boiled. One afternoon, Toto ate the family meal and threw the empty dish from the tree and broke it into several pieces. So, as you have seen, this is another mischievous act, notorious act done by Toto. What is it? The family was supposed to take the meal, and everything was arranged there. Oh, so what he did, he took the particular dish where meal was there, and he took it all and then threw the empty dish from the tree, and this particular dish was broken into several pieces. Toto's mischief grew day by day, and grandfather realized that they could not keep him at home. Now it is a new decision taken by the grandfather. So the decision was that as the mischief, as the mischief of Toto was growing intense or was growing more day by day, the grandfather realized or understood that they cannot keep they cannot keep it at home, because he is causing a lot of loss to the family, and therefore finally he wanted to sold the Toto to the same Tonga driver for a sum of rupees 3 only. So, my dear children, this is the summary in brief. I suppose you understood it. So, we'll see now the value points of this particular lesson. So, the value points are, so what are the main points? Let us see the main points here. The writer's grandfather liked to collect animals and had a zoo at home. So he was a great lover of animal, and therefore he wanted to have a private zoo. So this is one of the hobbies. Okay, the term is hobby. So it was one of the hobbies of the grandfather to have the private zoo where all sort of animal will be kept. Once he bought a monkey named Toto from a Tonga diver for a sum of 5 rupees. So as you have seen, he purchased it for 5 rupees only from the Tonga diver, but finally when the notorious activity of Toto grew very intense or huge, he sold it to the same person, same Tonga diver for rupees 3 only. Toto was kept a secret as the grandmother disliked animals. Toto was very mischievous. When the writer and his grandfather hid Toto in a cupboard and tied him in a hook, he broke the hook and caused havoc in the room. Got a lot of havoc means damage. damage in the room. The next day, when he was kept into the servant's room along with other animal, he did not let them sleep all night. So the next day, he was shifted to the room of the servants, and he was causing one nuisance after another, and because of this, the servant could not have a good night's sleep. As grandfather had to go to Sharanpur for work, he decided to take the monkey along with him. Therefore, the grandfather liked Toto very much, and therefore he wanted to give him the company while he will be going to Sharanpur in order to collect his pension money. He carried Toto in a strong bag made of canvas and closed the jeep nicely so that Toto could not escape or come out. So he was put in a bag of canvas, and the jeep was closed very nicely so that Toto cannot come out or escape. Toto made unsuccessful attempt to get out of the bag, which made the bag jump and roll. So he tried a lot in order to come out of the canvas bag, but his attempt failed because he could not come out because the jeep was very nicely closed. This aroused the curiosity of the fellow passengers at the railway station at the Saharanpur railway station. When the grandfather was getting his ticket checked, Toto picked out of the bag and smiled at the ticket collector. So a lot of attraction was caused when they were in the railway station. Then it popped out or came out of the bag, and when it came out and smiled at the ticket collector, all the people were looking at him, and the ticket collector was very much terrified. As the ticket collector declared that it was a dog, grandfather had to buy a ticket for 3 rupees, much to his annoyance. So finally, when there was a argument between grandfather and the bus conductor for the fare of the monkey, finally it was the bus conductor who was victorious, and he had to pay. The grandfather had to pay 3 rupees the for the Toto. Toto enjoyed taking bath in warm water during the winter season. So during the winter season, so he enjoyed taking bath with the warm water. One day he almost boiled himself. So it was a kind of discovery he wanted to make. But what happened? Some mishap happened. The water was not warm one. It was not a warm water. It was a boiled water. Okay, more than 100 degrees Celsius. Therefore, he was almost about to be boiled with the boiled water. Then let us see the next part. So here we go. Toto's mischief grew day by day, and grandfather realized that they could not keep him at home. Finally, he found the same Tonga driver and sold Toto back to him for a sum of 3 rupees. Therefore, we see that. So the same Tonga driver was searched, and the Toto, the monkey, was sold to him for a sum of rupees 3 only. Now we will see the characters of Toto. These are quite important, my dear children, finding the character of Toto. So we will see Toto was a baby monkey who was bought from a Tonga diver by the narrator's grandfather. He was pretty to look at. He had bright eyes and sparkled with a mischief beneath deep set eyebrows. So this is the physical description. When you are asked to give the characterization of a particular character, characterization actually comes out from the activities, from the activities and the speech of the particular person, or in the case of the animal, it is particularly the activities. So from his physical appearance, so what we see, he was having a very bright or sparkling or dazzling eyes, and that was the attraction for him. And this actually tells about the mischief that he can do. His apparently worldly water teeth frightened the Anglo-Indian ladies when he smiled. So his teeth were very, very bright, just like the pearl. And when he was grinning, or when he was smiling, just by opening the teeth, that actually deadened or frightened the Anglo-Indian ladies. His hands looked dried up as though they had picked into the sun for many years. So the condition, this is the physical condition again. So his hand, they as if they were dried up, just like the pickles that we do dry up in the sun. He was quick with his fingers and lifted his thing in wicked manner. He was very quick with his finger. He was very smart. He was very smart in his work. He was not lazy or sloth. He was very quick. His tail added to his beauty and acted as his third hand. So his tail was just like his third hand, and it added to the beauty of the monkey. He was a playful but restless. He was very playful but restless. To keep Toto's presence a secret from the grandmother, he was put in a little closet and was tied securely. A few hours later, when the narrator and the grandfather returned, they found that the wall in which he had been tied was ornamental paper and was now uncovered. He was a destructive too. The peg in the wall had been wrenched from its socket. Wrenching means coming out. He had torn the narrator's school blazer. He was a total misfit with other animals. Means he could not adjust with the other animals. He was a keen observer. He imitated the narrator's manner of taking birth. He was a good imitator, and he imitated the manner in which the narrator took birth. He was curious by nature and many times landed in trouble because of this. So curiosity is another beautiful quality in the children, and this curiosity was also there in the Toto, and he was curious by nature, and many times because of this curiosity to learn thing learn the unknown thing, to see the unseen thing. Many a time, what happened? He landed into troubles. He caused a lot of damage by destroying things. Finally, he was sent away and sold back to the same donkey driver. So, in the house of the grandfather, he caused a lot of damage just by destroying one thing after another, just by becoming misfit in the company of the other animal and the donkey. Therefore, finally, he was once again sold back to the same person from whom he was purchased. Then let us see another character, that is the grandfather. We will see the grandfather now. Grandfather. Here is the grandfather. Grandfather. Grandfather was an animal lover. As you have discussed, he was an animal lover. He had his own private zoo. He did not mind spending money in order to get animals and birds. He was sensitive towards the feelings of his wife. He was very sensitive to the feelings of the wife, and therefore Toto's presence was kept a secret till she was in good mood. When Toto was finally accepted by grandmother, he was given a comfortable home in the stable where he had Nana, the family donkey, as a companion. He did not mind Toto's mischief. Instead, he found him to be quite clever. Grandfather was witty and sarcastic. He was very witty, means he had practical wisdom. He was sarcastic, he used irony, means he used his irony in his speech. His experience with the ticket collector and the arguments he gave to prove himself were quite amusing. Therefore, from the talk that he made, the grandfather made with the bus conductor, we can understand that he was a very witty person, he was very sarcastic, and he knew how to answer beautifully. He took a very wise decision by selling back Toto, as it had become impossible to keep such a mischievous pet. So finally, his decision to give back the Toto, give back the pet to its original owner was also a very practical or pragmatic step, and this also shows his wisdom. Therefore, when this characterization comes either of the grandfather or the Toto, then you will have to give these points and you have to establish this point in order to make your answer attractive. Then let us see. So we'll see the last part. We'll see some questions and answer. Only two questions we will see. Other question I will read out and we will be preparing in the same manner. So we'll just discuss some model questions and answers so that you can be very familiar with how to write the question and answer. These are the short question. This question is for 2 marks and the word will be 30 to 40 words, and the long question will be of 100 to 120 words, carrying 6 marks only. Therefore, let us see that the first question: how does Toto came to grandfather's private zoo? Answer: the writer's grandfather liked to collect animals and had made a zoo at home. One day he saw a red colored monkey tied to a trough with tonga driver. He liked the monkey and wanted to add it to his private collection. He brought Toto from the tonga driver for a sum of 5 rupees. For a sum of 5 rupees only. Next question, let us see. Same type of question. So this is the question. It is a extract type of question. Toto was a pretty monkey. In what sense is a Toto pretty? This is a very good question. The question arises how pretty. Pretty means cute, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So how it was so beautiful? So you will see that the sparkling eyes, smart hand, it's a movement, okay, all this actually added to the beauty. That points you will have to give. The writer said that the Toto was a pretty, he had a bright shining eyes, 1 point, which are full of mischiefs. His teeth, another one attraction was teeth, which were just like the pearl, like pearls. He had a long tail. Another one, third one is long tail, which was like a third hand for him. The writer's grandfather felt that a tail added to the beauty of an animal. So Toto was thought to be pretty animal, pretty or beautiful animal. So these are the 3 points you need to write while you are answering this question. So another question, you will see that the same type question: why does the grandfather take Toto to Sharanpur and how? Why does the ticket collector insist on calling Toto a dog? So this part we have already discussed. I suppose you can answer it beautifully. So we'll see now the last question. The last question of this type. Why does the author say Toto was not the sort of pet we could keep for long? So this is the final decision that is taken by the grandfather. The grandfather actually took a very wise step. So he finally decided, he realized, he comprehended, he understood that no, it is not wise. It is not practical to keep the pet or Toto for a long time, because some other points you will have to write. It is very mischievous. It is very not real. The second point is that it caused a lot of damages. It caused a lot of damage. Lot of damage was caused by it. Lot of damage is caused by it, and they could not afford to it. They could not afford to the damages made by the pet. Therefore it was finally decided that he would be sent back, or he would be sold back to the original owner. So with this, let us conclude. So I suppose you understood it. We'll meet you in the next video. Till then, bye bye. Have a very good day. Thank you.